Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, Roy. So I'm gonna give everyone a moment to join the
Good.
call.
Good.
How are you doing?
I'm very well. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. Okay, we're starting to have participants coming in, so I'm gonna start right away. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on another Real Recognition Conversation Series episode. Today's episode is using holiday celebrations to show appreciation to employees. I am Tamika Figaro, the moderator for today, and I'm joined by our Chief Learning Officer, Roy Sanderson. Welcome back, Roy.
Thank you very much, Tamika. It's good to be with you again.
Thank you for being here. So Roy is a recognition strategist at Engage to Excel. He's the author of Practicing Recognition, How to Give Meaningful Recognition to People Every Day. He also consults and educates leaders and staff members in companies around the world. And he gives advice on recognition practices, strategies, programs in the workplace, helping them to give real recognition the right way wherever they work. Before I get started with the conversation, I would like to remind everyone of a couple of things. We are recording the webinar today, and we will send a link to everyone who registered. All attendees are on mute, so we cannot hear you. If you want to ask a question, I will please ask you to use the Q&A function at the bottom of the screen. In fact, we encourage questions during the webinar, so feel free to ask them. Just use the chat function to ask them. So let's get into it, Roy.
Sure.
So let's start the conversation talking about appreciation in general. So what happens when employees don't feel appreciated?
That's a typical question. I've heard it asked from managers literally around the world. I've spent some time in Western Europe. I've been to United Arab Emirates, India, as well as North America. And it's a typical question. And when you ask managers, and the kind of answers I've got are from managers in particular, but most of them have said things like, first of all, like that they're disengaged. You know, the employees are just not really fully committed. They're unproductive. You know, they're not able to do the work that they should be doing. And the scary part is that some of them, they do leave, or at least they want to leave. And that's the scary part, is when they want to leave, there's a term called presenteeism, where they're present, but it's like they're absent in as far as being engaged and doing the work that we expect from them. They lack motivation. Some people, when it gets really negative, they can actually sabotage, you know, either the work they're doing or the workplace. But bottom line is, when people aren't feeling appreciated, Tamika, they negatively affect other people. It's a ripple effect where it affects other people when they are unhappy. And that's the bottom line, is they're unhappy. So those are some of the things that happen literally from feeling unappreciated. And that's a little scary thing when we don't give people the recognition that they deserve.
So Roy, in contrast to that, what would you say happens when someone does feel appreciated?
Yeah, and I don't want to be trite about this, but it can really be the inverse of some of those kind of statements that I just made. But managers will tell you, you know, there's increased motivation, the quality of work improves, people are more productive. And I think when they're recognized and we're really appreciating them for their contributions and the effort that they're putting in, they have a greater sense of purpose. There's a greater alignment with the purpose and vision of the organization. When you do the surveys, there's increased job satisfaction. You'll see lower absenteeism, for example. And even things like having better self-esteem and self-confidence is present. And again, I guess I'll end off the same way I did with the other question you asked, and that is the bottom line is people will be happy with the work that they're doing and being employees of your organization.
Yeah, so my next question is actually to the audience. I'd like to poll the audience, Roy. And welcome to those who have just joined us. So my question is, who knows that next March will be the Employee Appreciation Day, And how many of you or your organization have something special planned to celebrate the day? So I'm gonna put my question in the post section. Please feel free to respond, and we'll look at the results at the end of the conversation. But this is just me being curious and wanting to know what everyone is up to. But Roy, we know that recognition should happen daily, but why is it important to celebrate a day like Employee Appreciation Day?
Yeah, I think it's important to celebrate a day like an Employee Appreciation Day because I think it's an opportunity to build awareness of the importance of appreciation and recognition in our daily lives. Unfortunately, recognition doesn't always happen as frequently as we would like it to. And so I think this is more of a reminder rather than, well, this is the only day in the whole year that we express appreciation to employees. It's a chance for leaders to kind of put their money where their mouth is when they support Employee Appreciation Day. And I think that's where it's really important to show the commitment of the organization. And I also think it's a time for us to evaluate how we're really doing with appreciating people for what they do and recognizing them for the contributions that they make. So it's more of an awareness builder. It's a reminder. It's kind of a chance for employees to even say, okay, organization leaders, do you really appreciate us? It's kind of putting the icing on the cake. If they already do recognize employees, then it's special. It's just an add-on. But if people are not being recognized, companies have to be very careful. If they just do it then and they don't do it the rest of the week, month, year, then we've got a problem. It's going to be a cynical experience. So people have to make sure that if they're going to put a commitment towards doing something for Employee Appreciation Day, that it's a continuation of what they should be doing.
So I was looking at the results, Roy, and thank you for that response, because we got so many answers already.
All right.
So funny thing is 56% of people are not aware of anything right now.
Anything, yeah.
Anything, but at least we have 22% that know about the Employee Appreciation Day and have something planned, and 22% who know about it but don't have anything planned. So I guess this is a good initiative that we plan this webinar. We can talk about it.
Good question to have asked, and again, a little scary that 56% are not aware of anything right now, but it's next week, right?
It is. It's on March 4, so it's on a Friday. Yep. And I would like to remind everyone that if you have nothing planned, that's okay. There's always next year. But Roy, do you have advice on other holidays or events or other observances that employers can celebrate in order to recognize employees throughout the year?
Oh, of course. There's thousands of holidays we could take advantage of if you really, really want to. So besides the traditional holidays, religious celebrations, professional association days and months, along with other national holidays, there's a slew of opportunities for fun and lesser known events and occasions to be celebrated. And I recommend people go to nationaltoday.com. So nationaltoday.com, and you'll see a list of every single day where there's special occasions that could, if they want to, celebrate. For example, March 1st, probably one of my favorites is National Pancake Day. I mean, if you like pancakes. And then from an inclusive point of view, we can't forget that March 8th is International Women's Day. And I grew up in England, so I'm very grateful that the week of March 7th to the 13th is actually British Pie Week. We Brits, we love our steak and kidney pies and all kinds of ham and egg pies. I would think that would be a great week to have a kind of a bit of a cook-off or something like that. And the 20th is International Day of Happiness. And if we really want to breed happiness, I mean, what are we doing? And about it? How are we keeping people happy, having gratitude? And I'm always mindful of having worked in healthcare that, May coming up brings along National Nurses Week from May 6th to the 12th. It's also speech pathology and audiology in the month of May. I know my daughter here with our grandchildren, they love celebrating May the 4th. And you may know that that goes along with May the 4th be with you with Star Wars theme, and they have all kinds of treats and goodies that are taking on the name of different food items or characters within the movies. And then May 5th is Cinco de Mayo. So there's all kinds of opportunities coming up in the next few months. But yeah, go to nationaltoday.com and you'll find oodles of holidays that you might, as a team, as a department, you might just have fun on selecting a few and have ways, to celebrate those in small, fun ways throughout the year. They can be a lot of fun to unite people and connect people, especially in this pandemic time. Even some of those things can be done virtually and just shared with one another to take some time out.
Yes, I mean, any holiday can be an excuse to celebrate an employee. I don't think we need Employee Appreciation Day necessarily to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a great initiative. Even if you forgot that it's Employee Appreciation Day, use it as a reminder to celebrate your employees throughout the year.
Very much so.
Yes, so I know that we've worked on giving advice and tips to our clients. Do you have anything you can share with us? Because we worked on a piece that we wanted to share with clients. Do you have anything you would like to share with us?
Absolutely, I've got it right here. Tamika and the team have created this Celebrating Employee Appreciation Day for 2022. Little tips to be able to help you in planning something, even something small that you can take advantage of, and we'll be sending that out to each of you who have joined us today on the webinar, and
yes.
I hope that I'll be of help to you.
Yes, I will make sure to send it to everyone after the webinar as a follow-up to it.
Good.
And also, I want to remind everyone who's just joined that we are open for questions. If you have a question, if you need tips, Roy is here to answer them, so don't forget to ask your question before we end this webinar.
Yeah.
But Roy, as a recognition expert, how would you advise managers to utilize these opportunities to recognize employees, especially if the organization is not?
Right. I think this is where, as managers, you can really take the bull by the horns and do something fun, something special. It kind of brings to mind, I recall years ago as a department director of speech language pathologist, audiologist, and a secretary. Of course, also coming up in March is St. Patrick's Day, and with the Irish green theme, we plan to have a potluck lunch. Just taking advantage of the lunchtime. Each of us was to bring in something green. Now, I don't know about you. When I thought bring something green, I thought it was going to be more of a salad kind of affair. But no, we had green eggs. Somebody had dyed the deviled eggs, cut them in half. Everything was green. The shrimps were green. Everything was green. I'm sure it wasn't too healthy on the dye intake that we were taking into us, but it was a very fun time. We all put on little St. Patrick's Day hats and green things and dressed green as best we could. But it was something we will never forget. How green everything was in looking at the food and what we wore. It really was a giggle moment, and we really enjoyed it. I think it's also important to be mindful of the diversity and equity and inclusion needs of our employees, to make sure that we're respecting and involving everyone for all the right occasions. But all it takes for managers is to do something small, but do it in a special way to recognize employees. And I think food is always a big hit whenever you can kind of share the wealth and bring in home-baked, homemade food items for everyone to enjoy. I've certainly found that people love to get recipes. And so, you bring something in, and then there's that continuation of saying, hey, could you bring the recipe for that item? I really love that. It kind of keeps it going. So I would say food is a common uniting force behind anything that you do. And it doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be expensive, but it makes you as a manager look like you're doing something special with your employees and a way to celebrate together.
Yes, I agree. Food always brings people together. And for myself as an employee, I'm not a manager, but I like to put reminders on my calendar so I can remind myself of everyone's birthday or anniversary. So that's another way that employees can remember to celebrate each other as well within the workplace.
Yeah,
Yes.
very good ideas.
Yeah, so I think this is it for today. I don't have many more questions. And if anyone doesn't have any, oh, we have a question popping up. So there's a question here. It is, since a lot of teams are either hybrid or remote, is there another way to celebrate during lunchtime?
Well, I think this is where we do take advantage of tools like Zoom, Teams, other methods of video conferencing. And I think bottom line is wherever we are, we share a meal together. And I think, just showing up in the screen, here's what I made, for St. Patrick's Day or whatever day. Or if we have had advanced planning from our organizational managers and leaders in sending out things, for example, to employees for Employee Appreciation Day, we can share a drink together, whether it's chocolate milk or something more fizzy or exciting, but just have a toast together. And I think that unites everyone wherever they are. So in that sense, the desk or the table or the computer is the uniting part where we can have everybody visible, no matter where they're working and sharing, and just unite together in a more social way. It could be a way where, managers are asking an open-ended question on a more social level, and we share something new from the recent week, for example, on a personal side.
Thank you, Roy. Actually, we have more questions coming in now that we're almost to the end, so this is perfect. So next question is, are there a top 3 of these fun holidays organizations should start with?
Oh my goodness. You've already heard my favorite on the pancakes. But to be honest with you, I'm going to say I invite our viewers to go to nationaltoday.com and just start going through each month. There are hundreds of holidays. There are several holidays on the same day, and I never even knew of them. So I'm not going to bias anybody with that, but I know, for example, something that we don't often think about. I mean, here we are talking about Employee Appreciation Day, but there's also World Managers Day. And we've been certainly making sure that you realize that recognition and appreciation goes in multi directions. It's not just top down, it's a multi-directional. It goes to your peers, goes up to your leaders and managers. So, I mean, that's just another example that we can easily forget. But I think as you go to the nationaltoday.com calendar, go through that, you're going to have fun seeing the kind of weird and wonderful as well as the special and needed. But it's an opportunity for you to, I think, as a team and a group of employees to, select. Let's go through them and maybe have a vote on which ones you will have that you will celebrate together as a team department with your managers. So I hope that people take advantage of those opportunities and have a fun time, connect.
I agree, 100%. And also, a good way to look at these days is depending on the field that you work in. If you're a nurse or if you're a pharmacist, there are days to celebrate these professions. So whether you're one or the other, you can select those to celebrate your employees.
Right, and those are important to make sure you get on the books, that's for sure.
Yes. So thank you, Roy. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're really glad to have you back on the platform for the Real Recognition series. And thank you for everyone who's joined the conversation. I will make sure to send you an email at the end of the recording so that you have the recording of the session, and I will see you on the next webinar.
Great, take care, bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.